I feel that what's happening is really peeling back this curtain. Like with a lot of the promises that modern society does, or a lot of the distraction that modern society promises humanity, as if it's vital and it's essential that we need it. We find out, hey, listen, we can actually survive without a lot of this, and perhaps this can help our community and globally humanity, as a whole. You know what I mean? So for example, the whole idea of globalization is usually thought in material sense, right? So globalization is usually thought of in how can we globalized supply chains and things of that nature. So it's tied in with production and consumption, whereas we're seeing a different type of globalization occurring here. This globalization of lack of consumption, there are certain things that are suffering, like, luxury brand names, and a lot of the car companies now, they can't even give away vehicles because people are so hesitant in buying their next vehicle. So a lot of these other industries, they've shrunken. The banks are now forced. I don't know about what's happening in UK. The banks have forced to almost give zero, like it's like 0.25% interest rate here, because they want to give money to people to support through this process. And banks aren't going to go out of business. They've been making like record profit every year. So it's peeling back like this whole facade that we really need to work so hard for so long, perhaps just to prop up a few to be on these very, very high pedestals. Whereas humanity as a whole will progress and be in a much better state if we don't get enslaved to that mentality. I truly believe that like we're seeing those benefits, like just in the neighborhood. Why don't we see so many of my neighbors walking around and we're chatting with them and whatnot? One of the reasons for that, Brother Abdullah, it's not necessarily because we wouldn't want to do that. It's because, man, people are exhausted. They're working so hard just to get by, to pay their rent or their house payments or whatever. They come home, they barely have enough energy to give to their families. You know what I mean? Right now, we're seeing the effect of like having that time with your family, to have those human connections, even though we have social distancing.
Do I feel that the New York police are providing enough protection, or do I have to have protection of my own? I look for protection from Allah.